Hey guys, we are testing Chocolate Babka from Preppy Kitchen. Welcome back to my channel. One of you all suggested the other day that I start testing recipes from Preppy Kitchen. Whoever suggested that to me, this video is for you. Now, I have made recipes from Preppy Kitchen before. I am a huge fan of John Cannell. He has such a pleasant demeanor about him, and not only that, he's very knowledgeable about baking. I have watched his videos and learned stuff that I have never heard of before. He's got all these tips and tricks. Guys, if you have not checked out his channel, go do so right now, or you can wait until after this video is done. I highly recommend John's recipes. So far, I have not come across one recipe that I do not like. So I have never made a chocolate babka before. Ever since I saw that episode on Seinfeld where they're all fighting over the chocolate babka, I have been wanting to make one of these loaves. If you have never heard of a chocolate babka, basically it's kind of like a cinnamon roll, but it's chocolate and it's rolled into a loaf. I'm a huge chocolate lover, so I'm really excited to taste this chocolate bread. Make sure you watch to the end of the video because I'm gonna give you my full thoughts and review of John's recipe. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button and let's do this. To make this enriched dough, we need some flour, sugar, active dry yeast, some eggs, whole milk, some butter at room temperature, and salt. When it comes to dough recipes, I always get a little nervous because I don't really want to do it all by hand. And the beauty of this recipe, we're supposed to let the mixer do all of the work for us. I added in all of our dry ingredients, whisk that together. Next, add in your heavy cream and eggs, attach a dough hook, and let it mix for about 2 minutes until dough starts to form. If you've ever made an enriched dough before, you will know that it has a lot of sugar and butter in it. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of room temperature butter at a time, and then we will let it knead in our mixer for 10 minutes straight. After 10 minutes, the dough is very stretchy. It's not overly sticky, so he tells us to oil a bowl really well. I made sure I oiled my hands so that way I don't have all of this dough clumping on my hands. I kind of shaped it into a ball, covered it with plastic wrap, and refrigerated this guy overnight. The next morning, I got started on our chocolate filling. We need some semi-sweet chocolate, cocoa powder, butter, powdered sugar, and heavy cream. This is a really easy chocolate filling. Anybody can do this. If you've never worked with chocolate before like this, chopping it up and cooking it, it's really not that hard. You basically throw your butter and your heavy cream in a saucepan. You're going to heat that until the butter melts and it's steaming. Add in your chopped chocolate pieces and whisk this together until it's smooth and the chocolate is completely melted. It looks so good. I would totally dive into this, but you don't want to eat any of it until you add that sugar. It's going to be so bitter. Add in your powdered sugar and your cocoa powder. Whisk it up until it's completely smooth. This mixture is way too runny to spread, so put it in a bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, and put it in the fridge. For the loaf pans, you need to butter them really well, add in flour, kind of tap that around, make sure it gets coated, and then add in parchment paper. Our dough is all set, ready to roll out. So first off, you want to cut it in half. Put the other half back in the fridge because it's very important this dough stays cold. As I worked with it and when I was rolling it out, it was so soft. There's so much butter in there, and if you leave it out too long, that butter will melt and it will just be a big mess. I really enjoyed working with this dough. It was stretchy, it was soft, it was fun. I did make sure though that I flour constantly underneath so it wouldn't stick because we're gonna have to eventually roll this guy up, and if it sticks, that's gonna be a big mess. Now we can add all of our chocolate filling. Remember, I'm only using about half of the chocolate filling because we still have another half of dough that we gotta roll out. Honestly, this is just like making cinnamon rolls. So if you've made cinnamon rolls before, make sure you use those same skills when it comes to rolling up your dough. We're rolling it up very tightly, And once you get to the end, you're going to pinch it and make sure you seal it because you don't want that chocolate leaking out. Now, I was very nervous when it came to these next two steps. Cutting it in half lengthwise. I was very nervous for some reason, but it came out great. And then when it came to twisting it up, I was even more nervous. But honestly, super easy peasy. You kind of just twist it together, and yeah, it's a little bit dirty. You might get some chocolate on your hands, but this was so satisfying for me, and I felt like a professional baker. The hardest part I found was actually lifting it up and getting it settled in the loaf pan. After it was in there, I went and washed my hands. I did my other babka loaf and then I covered it with a towel. We need to let these rise for about 1.5 hours in a warm place. Our loaves have slightly puffed up a little bit. It's perfect. Put them in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to add some sugar and water to a saucepan. Heat that until the sugar dissolves. So the babka loaves are all done, and they look a little well done. So I brushed them with the sugar water glaze. I hope that helps. I don't know why it came out looking so well done. I should have covered it with a little bit of aluminum foil, but on the inside, guys, it looks so soft and chocolatey. That looks amazing. It looks like a chocolate cinnamon roll in a pan, but it's not cinnamon, it's chocolate. I've never made anything like it. My kitchen smells like pure chocolate. I'm loving it. I have made a lot of enriched doughs in my time, and this is one of the easier recipes. It did have a little bit of waiting time where the bread has to rise, but if you want a good bread, generally you're gonna have to wait a little bit. This looks so delicious. It's still warm, so I'm gonna take a huge bite and let you guys know what I think. Here goes. It's soft, pillowy in the middle. It's cooked to perfection. The only thing on the top, it's a little burnt. There's a little bit of burnt chocolate. So if you get pieces of the top while you're eating, it will have a little bit of burnt taste here and there. The bread itself is very moist. There's plenty of chocolate swirls in there to make me happy. Look how soft this is. I bet this would be really delicious with a nice slab of butter on it, even if you wanted to eat it with some vanilla ice cream, or you could make this into French toast as well. All right, my rating on this bread, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. This is my first time making a chocolate babka, but honestly, the recipe was so easy, so simple. If I had it to do over again, the only thing that I would change is put aluminum foil over the loaves so the top wouldn't get so well done when they're baking. Other than that, super easy recipe, absolutely delicious. I highly recommend you guys try John Cannell's chocolate babka. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. I have a lot of good content coming your way, so stay tuned for more. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you soon in my next video.